Yeah, this actually came good.
I can make it January of 82. Because you know, I can't even put you on the line right now.
But I think just the weekend. Yeah, you just put it in there. I'll let you know what I'm doing, and then
It was about 7 hours every weekend over there.
but only 3 at a time.
Maybe I'll just go over and do it. I'll separate. And then we'll put X amount. 96. That's what I think we have. It was 20 below for 3 weeks straight. And a day. Every night. I don't think we got about 0 for like 3 weeks straight. That's what David, that's how we came up with our. No, you are. That's how we came up with our region. First we had.
Yeah.
Then we added Matt. Almost. Supposed to be regular. Like Wednesday or something like that. That still holds true today.
I just left Green Bay, I'm like 5 after the sky was pink, and it felt like a March day, it was warm. Yay, spring's on its way.
Yeah, I know. It sounds good.
We're still in the depths of it.
I know, it's funny.
I think it's gonna be a late spring.
Is that?
I didn't see the cat.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, they all, I saw
This morning,
they were singing
that might be him for 30 minutes.
Really?
We just gave, and when we were up there,
As of
we just gave
2014,
out not a penny
I
left.
see.
So far,
I
it's
didn't
so
even
good,
think it
right?
went off or
Yeah,
anything.
6 o'clock. My watch.
6 o'clock?
And then by the end of the day,
6 o'clock?
he called back up and said, no.
I don't have to watch it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
be-
Yes, it is.
It is? Call the meeting to order of the Town of Weyauwega Planning Commission. This meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, so the citizenry may be aware of time, place, and agenda of this meeting. President of the Plan Commission, Larry, Sheila, and Jeff, and me. The meeting is called to discuss, I forget the name of it, sports,
Power Sports Plus.
Power Sports Plus. And two gentlemen here are from
Yes.
Power Sports Plus.
Mike here, Dave.
Yep. And the way it was presented to us at the last meeting was they're going to be renting or leasing the Neil Lurkey property on Highway 10 and going to sell used sporting
Used sporting equipment, a variety of things, but, you know, RVs. I'm in the truck business right now with Truck Country. I'm gainfully employed, which I'll remain doing, and I don't want a conflict of interest with them in the heavy truck business, so we won't be selling those there. But anything else, basically. It's an existing dealership. I have a dealership in Greenville. My lease expired, and I had some visibility issues when they were doing under road construction, on the roundabouts and things, so I just decided it's time to relocate. I live in Fremont, Dave lives in Fremont, we've known each other for 20 years, and, we're not a partnership, but yet, you know, Dave's gonna be.
We do a lot of RV and marine stuff, repo, stuff that's repo, we buy, fix up, and resell. Oh, we do sell cars and trucks too, but, not really, we don't really run a car lot there. But we need a place, state of Wisconsin requires we have a license to do what we do, and that building meets the state of Wisconsin requirements for what we need for an office and a shop space.
Good exposure, Highway 10 is what we're looking for, niche-y things, more eye-catching things, not the run-of-the-mill, you know, Grand Am and Impala and things there. We want to capture the Highway 10 exposure with more niche-y, unique items.
I think what they were saying at the normal meeting last week is, or last month, is that snowmobiles, ATVs,
Yep.
boats,
Yep.
some campers, some
Exactly.
cars, motorcycles, but
Yep.
a lot of it will be inside.
Yep, we have plenty of
No
inside
on-site
space.
repair. They're gonna subcontract that out
Correct.
outside for now, right?
Yep, we don't have a facility there for repair and service. We're just not gonna attempt it there right now.
Questions?
And I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the location. Where is this location?
It's across from, what's the name of
It's right next to Allied Well and Septic.
on top of the Weyauwega Hill?
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah,
kitty
okay.
corner from the
There's a
the old
billboard right
town.
there.
Right.
It's a brown building, it's got like a little porch on it.
You just have that sign in training.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on the
Right on the highway.
The driveway matches up with the church across the street.
That kitty corner from Allenwood.
Yeah,
Yep.
right up on the hill there.
Yeah, right up on
I was
it.
trying to think of many
It's
streets.
dark right now.
Well,
Yep, you can almost
You
see it
don't
from
see
your
it.
house.
It needs to be livened up. It's just sitting there dormant.
At night now, yeah.
And it just, we have planned on, you know, it's gotta be brightened up and cleaned up and put to work. You know, it's kinda, we're tired of looking at it sitting there idle when, you know, 50,000 cars a day go by there. Someone should be doing something with it. And, I think
Currently
it's,
zoned rural, commercial, general. So they're asking for our approval on their new business.
How big a lot is it? The whole thing is about 5 acres, but we're going to be using the front half from the building to, well, it would be north, I guess, right there. Probably about 500 or 600 feet, and then out to that second driveway that matches the turnaround, the crossover from the other side. So I wouldn't know what square footage is, but it's probably about 600 wide by, that'd be deep, 600 or 700 feet.
And you're gonna be renting it.
Yes, but we do it to pre-release for them, because that's part of the requirements for the state of Wisconsin, is a 2-year lease.
Do you anticipate putting an underground storage tank for fuel?
no,
How will you fuel the vehicles? So they'll have fuel in them?
fuel station, BP or something.
Yeah.
We don't wanna deal with waste oil. We don't wanna deal with
No.
fueling.
No hazmat.
No hazmat, no. There's not the location for it. We've discussed at a future date or location, of course, having a facility to accommodate that stuff, and that's not it.
Not gas, but doing our own detail work, you know, a shop to clean up stuff, like boats take, you know, weeks to clean up and get ready or for sale, so maybe a shop to do that kind of stuff, but I don't think we'd ever do any kind of hazardous material stuff like gasoline, never. And then, any kind of oil changes or whatever, we have that contracted with somebody else.
We get state inspected, you know, to become a retail dealer, which I am, it'll be state inspected again prior to putting up the open shingle.
As soon as we make the move, they'll wanna come and look and see that it's all up to their.
Why don't you tell them what kind of time frame you're looking at?
We want it to be open by January 1st.
So no hurry.
Well, we both work full-time, so it doesn't matter. We like to be open by spring, you know,
What year?
March first, April first, yeah, March, April, you know, we're open. I think they're probably pretty anxious to rent it. They wanna get it, you know, cash flowing too, so.
They're gonna need a little bit of time to get their things out and cleaned up and moved around and what have you as well, so, yeah, by spring
Yeah.
sometime.
How many units do you expect to have parked out there?
You know, it goes in streets, like right now, I have 3 vehicles sitting that probably would be there, but, maybe 6 to
I'd say
12,
Yeah,
15
12, 15.
at a crack. Sometimes it's 20,
Oh, it's
sometimes it might be 2.
It won't be, we don't want clutter, we don't want junky, we don't
Yeah,
want,
we don't do that.
we have an image thing that we wanna maintain. We're
That's
not-
what I was getting
We
at.
do one, two, three kind of stuff, you know, like the campers and stuff that we buy repo, most of the stuff comes out of Michigan or Iowa, and a lot of it's, well, you need to take these 6, or you need to take this 1. So you just never know. For me to give you a real solid answer, it's tough, but it's never hundreds. It
No.
wouldn't be 50, it would be maybe 6 or 10 of RV marine stuff.
I had
at one time.
25 at the most at my other location, and that wasn't a regular situation. And that might be just before 5 of them go to the auction, or, you know. And I did more cars then, and I'm getting away
And
from
we're gonna do, yeah.
And like the motorcycles and power sports, there's a big indoor showroom right there, that'll all be kept inside. They won't, you know.
Yes.
And we have
And we
some
might
of them.
wheel a few out, you know, during the day and a Saturday afternoon, but again, we're both employed, most of it will be by appointment initially, and until we decide that we wanna put somebody full-time there from 8 to 5 or something. You know, it's gonna be by appointment, we have, flyers on every unit or vehicle that's exposed, you call, here's all the specs, if you're interested, pretty casual, you know. It's not a
And I guess I'm kind of preparing you for what it could be, but a lot of our stuff never makes it back there. The deal is, that building meets the requirements that we need to buy this stuff. We have to have this license from the state. We have to have this retailer's license to get into a lot of these facilities and sell that repoed stuff. Well, that building would allow us to have that. A lot of it will go from that auction to a detail shop to another dealer, to an RV dealer, or something. So there's stuff like that that happens more often than it gets retailed right there in that lot. So even though we might own 50 or 60 things at one time, there'll only be 3 or 4 of them sitting there. They just never show up there.
Just the ones you do.
It's the only way you can buy right.
Yeah, you
To
have to have
the
that
dealer's
license, and then you have to have an office and file cabinet and a desk and a shingle with your hours on it. For the state's requirements, it's all in that.
You said you clean up boats, you won't be able to sandblast there, will you?
No, we don't do any of that. No body work or sandblasting.
No sandblast, no body work.
No,
I don't wanna do that, and, you know, he doesn't wanna do that anymore. It's,
no, I didn't wanna do it 20 years ago, but, yeah, we still do it. But, you know, there's a lot, on a boat, you do a lot of wet sanding and buffing, stuff like that. It's all, you know, just boat work. It's not,
fiberglass stuff now, you know.
yeah,
Not gonna be
we don't be doing any body work. We don't paint anything, no nothing like that there. There's no facility for it.
Where's the location now in Greenville, your current spot?
I was at, on the corner of 96 and CB, which is, behind the Burger King Shell gas station. I was in the other half of the building by Joe's Collision Center. We shared a building. And I put the lot out. I had to pay for the excavating and 50 quad axle dump loads of gravel in there, and I just leased that as well, but I improved the property. Marty Nicodem was the owner of the property in the building. I did a 2-year lease with Marty. And we're on good terms. Marty's a great guy, you know, I don't burn any bridges.
It's kind of an industrial park there, but the lot was out on CD.
Do you have a picture of it by chance?
I do not.
Or does it have a website or anything that we could see?
It did. I did. I had a full website, and I had a towing business as well. And
Is it still up and going?
I had a-
The site?
Hmm?
Is the website going yet?
I don't think so. They canceled it.
But most of your acquired merchandise is repossession.
Yours.
That's where I work I'm in the auto auction business, so that's where I do a lot of my business.
And in order to buy that stuff, again, you need a dealer's license. It's the only way the state can keep track of you paying taxes on stuff.
Right. Yeah, well, these auctions that I go to, are that you have to be a dealer, they won't let you in. It's not open to the public, so, the general public.
What do you typically, are they kind of the higher end things that you're getting in the repo?
Yeah, to give you a good idea,
rural things?
just imagine what a bank would loan money against. They're not loaning money against old jalopies. They want it to be, it has to have rules. 08 and newer, can only, like if it's a vehicle, can only have so many miles on it. So that if you can imagine what the bank's regulations would be, so what they'd loan money against, that's what it is.
It won't be a junkyard. I mean, if anyone had any problem with it, they just have to come and knock on their
Yeah,
door.
we do some cheaper stuff occasionally, but only if it's a trade from somebody that wants one of the newer things now and then. Normally they just go away. They would just go away right away. We take them to auction and sell them, resell them.
No collision vehicles or anything like that
No,
out there?
No.
we're not. No.
We don't even know work there. Service, body, paint, none of that.
There's a larger showroom in that building than what you would imagine. I kind of took a
It surprised me.
Yeah.
I took a little jaunt around there, and I just wanted to see if Bobby was working, but
Oh.
Not yet, but she
Yeah.
offered to sit
and play cards with her mother.
Is the showroom on the ground level, or is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's behind it and behind.
it's actually pretty big.
It's
It's a
really,
really
it
unusual
looks
building.
small from the front.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
It's very deceiving.
Yeah, and it's very unusual. The basement is huge. It's 10 or 11 feet tall. It's got a heat pump in it for heat, like it operates like your refrigerator. It uses electricity to produce heat, and then it forces it throughout the building with a fan. It's very, very different. It was set up really neat. I mean, it was really built well when they built it. He gave us a tour and showed us everything.
What
They don't
about
come up anymore.
signage and things like that?
The signs we want to put up will probably stay on the building. We're not so sure about that yet. That, I think we have to get approved from the state, because of being on they're not gonna allow probably too much out by the road. So the signs would stay probably at an angle on the front of the building and be lit from the sides of the corners of the building onto the sign. It'd be like a pie shape off the front of the building as far out as we could get it, so we don't have to run power out into the parking lot. So,
What's the name of your, what's the name gonna be on your business?
Power Sports Plus.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You said that.
It's a limited liability corp and fully bonded. Again, a requirement of the state of Wisconsin, so I'm, of course, fully insured through West Bend Mutual. I mean, you have to be.
There's a
Anything
lot of
is-
rules
There
in
are.
the state, a lot of regulations to get this license.
We're not just opening up, we're not just looking to throw a used car sitting on the side of the road in a ditch and hope somebody stops that. We have to have window stickers and disclosures and, it's all a very legit dealer operated business. We're a limited liability, so, just a relocation basically. And,
So if I really wanna buy say we're looking for something, a really good vehicle, I wouldn't buy it
not
in
for him, for
Shola.
me.
I wouldn't buy it there, because the good ones go, they never see that, they never see that place, right?
Yeah, we kind of specialize in locating something for you too.
I would tell you what I wanted, you
Yeah.
Sure.
look.
We're more specialized in that, we're not just, if you would pull in a lot, we're not gonna come out with balloons and tackle you and say color matches your eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of a specialized thing. We do that a lot. We've both been doing it so long that we have like, I have families that call me when they need cars, and that's gotten to be so many over the years that it's getting to be where that's all I'm gonna be doing soon. It's just locating and retailing cars and trucks and motorhomes and whatever.
Kind of like what's his name, teacher's husband does.
It's just more, I sell a lot of equipment, I work for Truck Country, which is a Freightliner dealer, and, we're the largest Freightliner dealer in the US. We move a lot of iron, a lot of expensive iron. I'm a corporate account manager, so, this is just, it's fun. We like motorcycles, we like snowmobiles, we might as well have our friends buy them from us and make a few dollars.
And we can buy them cheaper too, that's what we like.
We're not planning on taking any money, it's just a matter of filling it up, just leave the money in there.
Oh, I forgot my order book.
I think you'll find that you'll enjoy working with us, it's pretty simple stuff, we don't make it a big ordeal. Hey, here's what I'm looking for, four-wheel drive, like this, I wanna be under 100,000 miles, I got $7,000 to spend.
We do a lot of that. A lot of it, and most of it will all be by appointment only. And we won't really have any set hours, we won't be open 9 to 5 or anything like that, it'll be because we both work. So it'll be Saturdays and no Sundays, but Saturdays and by appointment.
Consignment vehicles?
Maybe, but
We're not gonna get a lot in, it depends if it's a reasonable deal and the person that needs to move something isn't expecting crazy numbers. Because I still have to stand behind the vehicle. If I sell it to you and Fred owns it, just because I'm consigning it, I sell it to you, I'm responsible
Is
for
that
it.
what the bond does for you?
yeah, and we still have to make it legal.
I
By the
have
state
to,
of Wisconsin rules to sell to you,
Yeah.
no matter who owns it, so we
So
end up
it's
with a bunch of
kind of a-
liability.
and you normally don't make any money on a consignment, you make a couple $100 maybe, and then if there's any issues, then you're on the hook.
They'll be done though, there'll be some done, but it's risky, so it's limited.
It has to be right. It has to be the right scenario, I do a Harley, I do a motorcycle, I do a Yamaha or something like that over a high miles used car or something, because there's too much that goes wrong with them, Without a crystal ball, you just don't know, it's risky. So,
Okay,
I'm good.
we were looking for a motion in favor of or against, and so we can submit to the town board. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Before we do, can I just ask a question, and then this
Sure
is
may.
gonna jog all of our memories. But several years ago, the fellow from Clintonville that wanted to do the prefab homes up on the hill, and I'm thinking that we were leaning against that, how,
There was no, if I remember right, there was no building. It was
Yeah.
just the portable equipment,
that's right, okay,
and it was looking at used trailer houses,
okay.
not new, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I think so.
2 dozen there, and if you were by the Clintonville site, they
To kind
kind
of,
of get a little junky.
Yeah, we could control the used look or some of it, okay, just wanted to, in my mind.
that's why we
balance that
didn't
out.
want that.
I can see how that could turn into an old trailer park real quick or something.
Right in there pretty good.
And if we start, if you see,
Right.
Right, we don't, yeah.
if you would see that there's issues or something that, doesn't appeal to you, just stop in, let us know. I mean, it's not like we're gonna, if we would get bigger, we'd come back for more approval. We'd have to put some more gravel, because there's a lot of room there. We'd have to see what changes you want, see how things went, and,
We probably would have an option to buy the property from them too eventually, so we haven't really discussed that at full length yet, but that would be an option too. But, then things maybe would change a little bit, but not right now. Our plan for the next 2 years is to use it as an office.
and not put a lot of, see how it goes, see if the traffic is worth it. It's a 2-year lease I have to do, and if the numbers look good and the traffic's good and things look good, well, we're gonna have a clause in the lease to purchase, but then we'd have to have a meeting and get with you folks, because then we'd wanna put up, a 2-bay garage or something there just to have more room. But that's another day. It's kind of a pilot program here for a 2-year lease to see, make sure everyone's happy and we're happy, and it's not like you can't get rid of us.
I'm not on the planning commission, but I'll probably be the ones getting the complaints. So in that motion, I would like, if we get complaints, we can call you
Oh,
in
Yes,
and say,
absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, you won't.
this is what the problem is, either clean it up or the permit is gone.
And actually, we have some cleanup that we're gonna want done before we sign leases.
With him,
Oh,
yeah, he
yeah,
has some stuff.
in the
You know,
back there. I
It's
think.
gonna be cleaner than what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that. It's gonna be an improvement. It's not well kept right now.
And they're on board, they wanna clean it up, Neil and Rachel, they're anxious to get rent and cash flow, and they wanna work with us any way they can.
And you can understand though, that that's what we're saying, is it's hard when somebody's already in that situation, it's hard to get somebody to change. So you make the change at the time that it's new, and that's what we're getting at is, we go here,
Sure.
so we're looking for that same commitment to clean it up and make it look a lot nicer than it does today.
We're gonna go into, we're gonna have fresh gravel brought, we're gonna clean up, the grass is all grown over, it doesn't even look like there's a driveway there hardly anymore.
Yeah, and there
That's
actually
got
is.
all bright.
Yeah, it's nice.
Lights, we're gonna have lights not pointing at the highway, I already talked to the highway department on what's acceptable, and, we're basically gonna light right off the building. It'll be less expensive to run that way without putting poles and everything up, and it's like got the saloon front, a flat front for lettering. We'll put our lettering on there with lighting against it, away from the highway, and we can't have it dark and dingy, for theft reasons, for one. And just eyeball, you want people to see it. When you come around them turns or up the hill, we want people to notice it's there. And that's why we want the nichey things, eye-catching. Jesus, call your buddy from Georgia and tell him there's a,
So there will be things sitting there, I know what you're getting at, but it won't be a junkyard. We don't want that for the township either, or wanna be known as having that place.
No.
Our place will be neat and tidy, and
Would you
there could
mind,
be a dozen things sitting there.
would you mind if we put like a 50 unit?
That'd be fine.
That would be
Sure.
fully acceptable, but
Yeah.
put a limit on it, we both
Yep.
have a lot of storage facilities elsewhere, so.
And we're very reasonable business people, so it isn't
When you
like-
say 50 unit, you mean total or outside?
Outside,
Outside?
doesn't matter, but they have inside, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
And I don't think we'll ever have
You'll never get
50, but it's big enough to accommodate, we'd have to
Could you
just.
live with half of that?
We could live with 25.
Yeah, 30 maybe would be a nice round number, just in
What?
case. we
30
have a great
outside.
month. Yeah, just in case we have a great month, one
I
month
feel
and a
more
half and a
comfortable
half.
with that.
So 30 units, meaning what size?
Well,
Well,
see,
a motorcycle would be one, a RV would be
Right.
one, right?
right,
Sure.
and if we have an RV or a 30-foot RV or something there,
Yeah,
and then it's gonna cut down on the number of vehicles, because.
yeah,
we want-
25 is probably plenty, or whatever. We'll never have that many around, it just doesn't work that way.
We don't
move
operate
stuff
that.
right now, we move fast.
We might have a half a dozen unique,
Yeah,
nice thing.
Or a lot of times if you go buy, you know, sometimes you have to go to a place to buy a truckload of stuff, like ATVs, or if you go to Montana and buy a truckload of ATVs, you've got 15 or 20 of them, whatever you can pack in there, you know, to get them back here. And you got like a week or two where they're hanging around.
They'll be inside though too.
Yeah, a lot of it will be, yeah, whatever we can fit.
Do you anticipate?
We have to float with what makes us money, and the season, everything varies, you know.
So it's a
We'll
package.
switch, we'll go to RVs in spring, some boats.
Motorcycles and
Yeah.
boats in the spring,
Yeah.
snowmobiles in the winter, and
And
that's
even
kinda
golf carts,
we
do golf
adjust.
carts sometimes. Those get kind of numbery if you have to buy a
I
load.
think, we've heard enough testimony, unless you guys have more questions that we haven't heard of already. I think we'll entertain a motion.
what do we think, 25, 30, 30 units?
37 gentlemen?
There'll be plenty
That'll
of
be
different,
perfect,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, do we accept this, or we don't have to rezone it, do we?
Nope, no rezoning.
Accept it with a limit of 30 outside units.
I believe it'll be a conditional use, but I'm not 100% sure on
I
that.
think so, yeah.
We have to refund it from the county.
Yeah, that's I gave Bill those papers.
So. Okay,
That's what I had
Yeah.
as well, I had a conditional use.
yes,
permit that
I think that's what it will be, so. Larry made the motion,
I'll second.
second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We'll make a motion to the town board.
Okay.
Town board can act on it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
And then the next step would be to sign that form that we,
I believe so.
okay,
And that'll be it, and you'll email again the next meeting?
or will
Oh,
it be
you
before
won't be
then?
meeting with us anymore.
Oh,
Okay,
We'll send this over to the county after it's signed and filled out
oh,
today.
okay, then you'll send it over to county.
We'll send it right over to the county.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I met with them
Is
already.
that Ryan, okay?
Yeah, I was over there.
Then he has to
got
sign
the
it?
paperwork and, yeah.
Yeah.
sign it.
Well, good.
I will be sending you a bill in the mail. It's $40 a fine
Oh,
member,
sure.
so it's $160.
Yep, I remember hearing that, that's fine. Yep. You'll just mail that to me, you have my 507 Riverview.
I got your little business card.
Yeah,
They were I have to
But
tell you, they
my-
were a
that's my
godsend. They had
business.
to cancel the meeting.
I got
Do I
that.
have a motion to adjourn, plan commission?
I'll make that.
Second?
I better give them my.
In favor?
address.
Aye.
Aye, adjourn. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming down.
Yep.
Stop in when we're open up and say hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
I'm gonna give you my home address, something back quick, Kurt, that's, mailing address.
Okay.
That's what I mean, I don't remember that.
Julie, that's how your report comes through to us.
Oh, do you need a copy?
No,
Because I've got an extra one
if
here.
you got an extra one, I'll
Yeah, I
take it.
got an extra one. I always print you one.
No, mine came through just fine.
I don't,
See, mine comes through and then when I print it, it looks like this, so I gotta just print it landscape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an extra one.
mine didn't have any figures on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe there
All
weren't
he's
any.
got is, he didn't want the bills.
Just where the money's going to.
But you got little pictures of clothes, Bill. You got pictures of clothes.
Yeah,
How did that?
and I don't know if that's off our printer or something you sent.
Never seen pictures on.
Do I gotta
it.
sign this somewhere?
I think they went up on the file and printed instead of going into the email.
That's interesting.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it was doing the whole page.
If I don't have to sign it.
Because this is off my.
You don't have to sign it?
Yeah.
Send it to me. and
On the
this is
back
what
there, I
comes
guess
over.
is something. I just see that when I handed it back now.
Okay, town board,
Notes.
town
I don't have
planning.
the bills yet.
No, what he.
So I should sign it here?
Oh,
Took it off.
You sign it there, you
Look at
sign
that.
it there in the back.
Call the town board meeting to order. This meeting, all it means is committee public proper notice and posted given to the press in accordance with the Wisconsin statute. So citizens to be aware of this time, place, and meeting. Minutes of the last meeting. You all received a copy, I take it? There are no further questions on it, if you had a chance to read it.
I'll make a motion, we approve as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of the last meeting as printed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report. We all received a copy?
Yeah. Wasn't a lot going on, was it?
No, there wasn't much going on.
I got a question, that building that's going up at Quantum there, is that from a permit that was
That,
way back?
all we had was something, and they called it a porch,
A porch.
and that was back, it's listed on here, I have to find it.
I remember
It's
that.
right here from, on 10/11, Quantum's area building permit for $150, and I was told it was a porch.
Yeah, it's on the old Schuman house.
Mhm.
But you saw the building going up now.
That is, well, it's kind of in place of that one that burned down almost, but in a different
Yeah,
location.
so I don't, to me, there should have been something, I was thinking you maybe had something for me tonight.
I would think even though it isn't taxable, they'd have to get a building permit.
Well, it should still be taxable because it's a brand new building.
Brand new building.
Yeah.
Well, they always told me anything to do with the digester wasn't taxable. I don't know how they get around that, but
Yeah.
I haven't been around there in a few days, but
I-
the skeleton of the building
I
is up.
truthfully can't even tell you, I know it's like right outside my house, but I can't even tell you. Can't even tell you.
But they still would need a building permit, it's still a building whether it's taxable. or
Yeah.
not.
Right, yeah,
Still should be
It
inspected.
should be built correctly.
Yeah.
right,
And that's
and
what the
that's the
building
reason for
permit
the
does.
building
Yeah.
permit.
Yep.
So I'll call zoning.
Okay,
Because I mean, even, I mean, we were replacing what had to be taken down, and you still need a
Still need
building
building
permit.
yeah,
permit.
yeah.
Yep.
Any new construction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't see it on here and I was just
No,
wondering.
that was the last one we had from them, and that was, like I said, the porch. I didn't write the porch piece on here, but I know that that was porch for 150. I should write that, cause maybe we might need that for future use there.
I remember that because they had to go through, not zoning, a special permit because it was too close to the road.
Well,
I can't remember what they call that.
Variance.
Variance, yeah.
Variance.
There's a committee for that,
Is it really?
yeah.
Could be for everything.
Okay, any other questions on this?
I'll make a motion, we accept it as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second to accept treasurer's report as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, motion in order to accept the recommendation of the planning committee for their project on Highway 10 there, Lurky property.
Plus, I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation.
I will second it, see you.
Okay.
You all heard the motion, in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Ice racing on Lake Weyauwega ordinance. I think,
That me? I have my notes.
I don't care. I think we just,
I have some information though,
okay,
okay, as long as it's on the agenda.
okay, go to it.
Bill and I went to a meeting with the city, and, trying to find my notes here. And, it was an informative meeting, but basically these, in a nutshell, it's public domain, open to anybody. No permits required for nothing, unless it's boat racing. That requires. The way I understand it is that the ice racing was plowed Saturday, and they had races Sunday, with no incidents. I got a call this morning from Pat, about it, and, the only question is that half of the track or so is in the city limits, the other half is in the town limits. But as far as he knew, there were no complaints, so it kinda went off without a hitch. So, and you asked a question, who is in charge of the racing? It's, Jolene and Tyler Nolenberg. Marvin Bart Nolenberg's son,
Okay.
so that's who's doing that, so. And that's about it, I mean,
Well, at least he's local, so if we get a complaint, which, okay, I almost took it like a threat when one of the people from the lake preservation,
stated that if there was any garbage left, any, I wanna say batteries, tires that they did not clean up, and they went into the lake, then the Lake Association would come after the town, because we're a body.
They asked for a permit,
Yeah.
and we said we're not issuing permits. Because we don't need to,
And I don't believe the city is either.
and the city did not.
And the wardens all sat there and said
Yep, there were 4 wardens here.
they,
You don't need it.
they don't
They don't
require
need
a permit.
So as far as the DNR is concerned, it's legitimate?
Yes.
They've been,
It's for everybody.
because it's a public landing,
Mhm.
and you can have access to the lake, and do what they
I
as
did,
long as they're not impeding the rules of the DNR, right?
yeah. I did ask.
And there are no rules for
I
But
did-
as far as isolation,
I did.
but the littering and
Well, yeah.
any of that stuff, right?
I talked to the sheriff and asked him to have the snowmobile patrol check it Sunday a couple times because we're gonna be out now because of the weather. I don't know if they were out. I know the trails were still open as of Sunday. I don't know if they still are or not.
I didn't have one that went through my place all weekend.
Did you?
No.
So,
Anybody that wants the snowmobile should have known enough to stay off Sunday already.
Mhm.
Why chew it up?
Mhm. So I think unless something else happens, I think we're,
Yeah, the only question I would have, do we wanna make a motion that we are gonna make no ordinances regarding the lake and just let, things fall where they may? Or do we just wanna ignore it?
I think we got minutes in the,
Yeah, I don't,
You
I
know.
don't think you can make, you don't really make a motion that you're not gonna make a motion for an ordinance, but I would just, basically I put it that it's out of our hands, DNR ruling states that,
They were pretty adamant that they're not gonna enforce anything.
even,
Sheriff's Department can't.
the city has a nuisance ordinance, and, it's all in a judgment call, that's what it sounds like, so, so somebody has to complain, and then they have to go and listen to it, and it's like a noise ordinance thing.
Yeah, I think as long as the track is half in the city now,
Yeah, I know.
let's just
I-
wait and see what,
I think that's a good thing, just wait and see.
what they
Yep,
come up with, and
yep,
if we have to have another joint meeting,
we'll have to do it.
we'll have to do it, yeah.
Mhm.
I thought they handled it real well. They
I thought they handled it very well. They
put
were-
a time limit on and they had to sign up if they wanted to speak, and they didn't let them carry on, and
They gave every speaker 3 minutes, so, and then DNR answered questions, and there was 4 of them here, and they all did a good job.
5 of them were the guy that sat.
Well, was he DNR?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
he was a plant specialist.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, he was. I didn't know he was DNR though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, another thing, you still get the minutes
I do.
from the association?
I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Bob Racky brought up, they have never had a motion on the books about anything here, and it's just that one little group that's,
It says
it's
here,
like they're proceeding on their own.
it says here, this is the November 14th minutes, and I know there was one Thursday night too, right after this. It says Rules Committee, working with the city of Weyauwega.
Yeah.
That's all it says. And then it was on the agenda for the 9th of January, and Bob Radke called me, and he said that the Rules Committee had nothing to report. And I said, on their new business, they talked about Lake District discussion. He said there was nothing to report, so they took no action. They just moved on. I do think they want to form a Lake District. I can,
Yeah.
because then they have more powers, but then they can tax the public.
Yep.
I mean, they can just say, here's our taxes this year, charge them on your tax roll.
But they have to have approval.
They have to have approval for that.
Well,
Yeah.
plus,
I don't know if I'd
the
want that.
limitation of district too, that has to all be mapped out, and then you have to have so many signs.
There's a lot of hoops to
So
jump
there's a
through.
lot to go through on that, yeah.
Yeah, but I just can't see our township in favor of allowing the Lake District that can just set taxes. You know, they're short $50,000 this year, so they say, here's a tax levy.
Assess it.
You know, they talked
I just
about-
can't,
Yeah, they talked
I
about,
can't imagine that.
yeah, they talked about tires and stuff in the lake. They can't prove that the ice racers did that. I mean, there's been stuff going on there forever.
Look at the Wolf River Preservation, how many tires
Oh,
and barrels.
What they pull out of the river?
That's amazing.
I think right now, I think they're kind of resided in the fact that they're creating so much bad publicity that they gotta back away a little bit.
I think you're right.
I mean, if they're talking about draining that lake again and needed another $60,000, they're gonna have one tough time getting people to donate now from the publicity they got.
Well, you need people using the lake. You know, if they're not using the lake, it's no value. So,
Okay, luckily we got
Sorry
nobody
about
here.
I didn't mean to.
That's all right, that's
Finger
good.
on.
Nobody got the indictment, the DNR recommendation letter, that's mute.
That's mute.
Mute,
Yeah.
yep.
Highway report, everybody satisfied with the way the roads look?
Yeah. I have a request. Scott Buchholz. On Evanswood Road, his route is go back towards the city and then go out that way. That's what he's required to do. He goes, I think it's where the Kearney people are. All the trees are hanging over and the branches are hitting the top of his trailer. He said, when you guys trim trees, I'd like to put a request in to trim those trees. He says he has to go to the center of the road, which isn't much, and he still hits them. I didn't go out there to look, I was gonna, and I didn't.
That's funny because his girlfriend and he himself keep telling my kids about it, and I've seen him 2-3 times. He won't say a thing to me.
He called me. Well, I insure him, but he called me. So I said, okay. Maybe he's setting up for a claim, I don't know.
he's got a big rig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's got, he runs exclusively for Kraft. So,
I guess, what I should do is, I got Creasy Road still on the list to trim. There's just a few, maybe I can get Scott to stop enough to point them out to me and then.
yeah, I'm not sure which ones he's talking
I
about,
don't,
so.
I don't either. But I say, this has been going on a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Every time he runs into Scott or Joe, tell your old man to get that. And I've seen him, I don't know how many times, and he won't say nothing to me.
Well, you are intimidating.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, the sanding and the plowing, I kind of been backing off of what I normally did, and so far we're good.
I think we're fine.
I don't think the road was too slippery, no, so
Well, this warm weather kind of busted up a little bit too, so.
we're talking what,
3 to 5 or
3 to
6?
5?
5, so.
Tomorrow night?
Well, tomorrow.
No, night is what's going, not
Come
tonight, no?
tonight.
Okay, yeah, I thought.
Starting at 12.
Is it?
I thought it was supposed to start.
7, we could have an inch by the morning.
So I suspect we'll be on that.
Yeah.
Ambulance report. Jim, did you by any chance get a copy of the new?
I did, and I did read it. And
Okay.
to me, it looked okay. From the meeting that we had and the notes that we had, that I took at the meeting,
Yeah.
it did change those, requests, the
Yeah.
timeframes and all that. Not a major change, but, Pat, again, from City Hall called me and wanted to know if we had signed ours yet, because apparently we gotta sign an original,
Yeah,
and he's got it.
he's got it.
Okay.
Unless he got it to someone here. So I can, after this meeting, I can stop and get it and get you, or if you're in town, you can,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
is he still back there?
Yeah.
Either that or I can just stop in the city hall when I'm in town and see if they got
I,
it there.
do we need a motion to approve it?
I would say probably.
Then I'll make a motion, we approve the new revised ambulance service agreement between Gold Cross Ambulance Service and the town of Weyauwega, in conjunction with the city, town of Royalton, and town of Muckle.
Lynn is not in on that.
Town of Lind is not in on this.
Really?
That's from way back.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to sign the ambulance report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
From the city.
You want a copy of it?
Yours, I don't know.
I have the original of that bill, of that.
That,
Yeah, because that went to Jill, that was one of the things you sent to me. That's the original, I don't know what's supposed to be done with that.
well, this one is from Scott Construction, that one's
That's
from
Fox.
Volkswagen.
Oh, okay. I don't know where they're supposed to go.
I have a file.
Okay, that's what I was,
I have a file of all, they come
Yeah.
every year. I
You know,
don't
they must just automatically send it.
should I though contact
Actually,
them
hold
so
on,
that they send it to a different address, because they're sending it to Jill?
Oh, we don't need
She'd
it.
like that.
I mean, I guess I don't know anything about that, so I was,
Okay, I can just give them a call.
okay,
Scott Construction.
yeah.
They just must automatically keep sending them out because we haven't done business with them.
What happened, they're on the list and they just push a button and
Oh,
boom, they
really?
go.
Okay.
That's all they do.
Well, what,
You know, I think that just in case we do hire them for something.
okay. All right.
Well, if I get a copy of the one that's signed,
I think you should get a copy of the one that's signed.
okay.
He sent me this by email, you want me to email it to you? Or do you want it?
Well, neither one of my computers are talking to my printer.
I highlighted it in the back as a bill, how it's paid, and then it's in there how it's due.
Okay.
It's quarterly and stuff, that was one of the agreements, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that same, see, word ambulance, I was notified, that, apparently Gold Cross and Fire and Ice were still not seeing eye to eye. So Fire and Ice went out and contracted with another ambulance service to be at the races.
Hmm.
And, at a cost of no greater than $4,000.
Do you know what service?
I do not. Pat's one told me. He was shocked at it. He wanted to know if I knew anything about it.
But, I mean, it's really no profit, non-profit. I thought they were gonna do stuff like that for free.
It had to be sanctioned by the municipalities, and the city was willing to, we were willing, but, I guess we didn't react fast enough. I don't know. I thought it was kind of foolish.
And I can't figure out who they would get.
I don't know who they are.
I mean, Gold Cross is in New London now.
No bad.
Billy, one
Pat
that's local.
mentioned the name to it, and I didn't know the name. I think maybe Fond du Lac? Is there somebody out of Fond du Lac? I
So
don't-
where are they gonna take them? I mean, they're not
Got-
welcome at every hospital.
Got me.
Hmm.
Got me.
Well, I imagine if it's serious enough, they would take them.
Yeah.
That, yeah, that's, to
Mhm.
me,
But that's, I mean, that's taking money away from the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts,
Sure
you
is.
know, the St. Peter's,
And
Faith organization. and
at the last, when we met with them, they were fairly open to listening.
yeah, they wanted to work it out.
But I don't know what happened with the Fire and Ice Committee. I don't know. Don't know.
$4,000 off the top of the profits, a lot of
Well,
money.
And
for all the
that
service
number may not be
organizations,
accurate, but, I mean, it's,
even a couple thousand
That's
dollars,
right.
I mean, cause
Yeah.
this is all service groups that
Yeah,
are
Mhm.
yeah.
taking this money from here.
Okay, no fire department report. Did you? We don't have to make a motion to sign that agreement.
oh, I think we should.
We-
Oh, we did.
You did.
We did,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
No fire department report. Stray kitten bite report and update.
Straight kitten?
Stray kitten.
Okay, there was a kitten in our township that bit a person in our township.
Go ahead.
Two police officers responded. One was Officer Poltrock and Officer Gorski. The kitten was captured, it was stuck in a dumpster. But it
With a
did,
cord wrapped around its neck.
Should've wrapped it a little tighter.
I know it.
it did bite the person that tried to get it out, not the officers.
Oh.
Anyway, it was at this point in time a, what do you call a rabbit suspect because of it biting somebody. The procedure is, there's two procedures. You can send the head in for a rabies suspect to the state of Wisconsin, or you can quarantine it for 10 days, and then a veterinarian has to see it 3 times and give it a rabies shot. The second option was chosen. It was taken to Happy Tails. We notified the county that this case was coming in. Unfortunately, the county humane fund is gone. This happened last year. So now, Officer Poltrock, Happy Tails, is stuck with a bill for $314. So he then at that point in time, I think he was pretty upset. He wasn't gonna take our stray dogs anymore. So anyway, now we have an option. We can pay the bill, $314, because it was one of our residents. The county will not pay it.
I think part of the reason the county not paying it is they have, the last figure I heard, that horse deal up in Clintonville, that's over $20,000 already.
$18,000 for guinea pigs. 18,000. I said,
For what?
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs?
What about guinea pigs?
I guess there was a house over one of them or something, I don't know, but anyway, they had to go in and remove them, and then they had to find places for them, and then they had to pay. They had, when I talked to, I mean, first of all, I started with Mary, then I started with district attorneys, and then I got the humane officer, and normally these bills would have been, and they have paid in the past. But unfortunately, they are out of money and they could not help us out.
I did volunteer to reimburse, because it was my daughter.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So I will.
She didn't have a 22?
Well, she'd have called me. It would have been different results. But she got bit and scratched pretty bad, so, and we were concerned about rabies.
There's nothing worse than a cat bite.
Mhm. And I apparently took both police officers with those big rubber gloves on
To get it out.
to get it out. A little kitten. So,
Now the
I don't know what the
tiger
procedure is, but do I reimburse the township, or do you want me to pay Happy Tails direct?
You would have to pay Happy Tails direct.
Will I get a bill?
I think you're getting one.
So I'll take care of that.
You know, okay.
Actually, she'll take care of that.
There you
She
go.
doesn't know this yet.
What do you mean I didn't make nothing this week?
That's right.
I think too, we probably should inform.
Jerry Poltrock knows very well that we do not have a cat ordinance. Anyone would call it any cat. Oh, that guy that's just right next to Dan Stern,
Mhm.
his wife stopped in. She had like 4 or 5 of them.
They're running all over the place.
Yeah. And she wanted to capture them and bring them to the town. And I said, we don't have an ordinance. I said, if you're feeding them, they're yours. I'm really sorry, Nancy. That's
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah.
I said, we cannot handle every stray cat in the township. Well, I'm a cat lover.
I love them to death.
We
Keep feeding
all,
them.
we all are, but I said, I think right now, I said, what you have to do is keep yours in the house. I said, and keep the strays outside. I said, it's not like there's a spay or neuter program that you can get involved in, I said, but it's the way it is.
Nature takes care of quite a few of our.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, we've had a number of times, probably 3 or 4 times where people drop cats off by us. You know, in the country, barn across the street, here's a cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, you gotta go looking.
Really? I'll keep that in mind.
Because you walked in the barn and the mice scattered, so it was time to,
It was time.
yeah, because I think the hawks got cats. That's what I mean, nature takes care of.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have went down to that barn, by Rasmussen there, you should have gone.
That's where they're coming from, I think.
All kinds of stuff.
Laura, you got a copy of our,
But as long as we're talking about
Highway
animals,
aid.
I have a question about animals. Okay, I know I take care of the dog license, and I know they're supposed to, give me a self-addressed stamped envelope. What do I do for all the people that don't?
You mean for the
For
license
the dog
itself?
license, I got lots.
Unfortunately,
We just,
it did not say on our tax bill.
oh, it didn't,
It
okay.
did not, so
Okay.
we are going to have to.
Okay,
obviously
all right,
buy it.
well, I didn't know if I was supposed to have them stop at the house, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to handle that, so I had a stack and I thought, well, I'm gonna come here and ask that. That was my question last Monday, so I thought, well, I'll ask it tonight and see.
Be sure,
Just
I
maybe-
am putting a note on, cause there's a spot to write comments, so I wrote a comment, that was my comment to those people that didn't,
Yeah.
was, please, send self-addressed stamped envelope. in the
That's
future
not
years.
half as bad as you see a dog and you know it's not licensed. You tell them to license a dog and they ignore you.
Right, yeah, so I mean, anyways, I just didn't know how I was
Yeah.
supposed to handle it, so that was my question.
Just keep track and turn the bill in.
Well, I have the stamps and stuff, I mean, it's not a big deal, I just wanted to know how I was supposed to do it.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
I'll bring it next month.
okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is,
There you go.
bills. You all received a copy, any questions?
I need a copy. That wasn't, I thought you had added something.
No.
that check was in there for the car.
It was in there, that
Yeah,
one
I
that I
did
got
the
that
one for
question.
the $800, but not the smaller one. The forest crop severance, that's what we sent for the last one.
Okay, but so that 40, it was 40 something, I see that
right.
on here, so, okay.
The one to Dave Stelzner, there was some tires out by his dad's place, he picked them up, took them down to co-op, Randy Mitchell's, not the co-op anymore. I forgot what he said he charged him per tire, now $7 or $8?
$3.
$3? Well, I said for that you can't run up to
No,
Manawa.
no.
So, as long as, next time I pick some up, I'll try Randy if he, I mean, that's cheaper than running up.
Oh, you got that right?
And I think Dave indicated, I think he said March he was gonna start his new,
Oh, I haven't talked to him yet, he
Yeah.
did get it then.
I think he said he was, and I don't know if it was definite, but he said if it is, it would be March and he'd be interested in doing some work for the town,
That'd be nice.
so.
Who's that?
Dave Stelzner.
Oh, that. J. Mall and Associates, what is that?
That's our software program for my special assessments, and Jody came up with, I'll let her do that, but it's our software program for taxes.
For taxes, and it's her special assessments she needs, that's $50. Their dog program costs us $100. We license like 40 to 50 dogs, we get a quarter for each dog. Okay, I don't think it would be any big deal to make an Excel spreadsheet and save the township $100 next year.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
know
my
what you-
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
just,
we make
cause I
money.
have that and I brought it to
So how many
our-
licenses do we have? And we have 25 cents a license?
Mhm.
You got 40?
Yeah, so we're not
10
exactly,
bucks and we spend 100. Okay.
yeah,
Plus then
and
we
the
have
other
to-
thing
There's
is we have to
probably
pay
another
the,
40 dogs in there.
Unlicensed, but it's still not enough.
No,
But then-
no, so, but I mean, I don't think it would be a big deal to make a spreadsheet, cause it's not like
Yeah.
we have hundreds and hundreds
Yeah.
of dogs to keep track of.
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
and then we have to pay if we get a stray one out of
So
there.
is
Yeah,
this-
so I mean,
Yeah.
that takes out of
So
that.
is this for
This is
2014?
Well, I don't know, see, and that's,
It's SLAP, it's a program that's there now that we've got,
got
Okay.
it.
so.
But I'd like to not use that program. I don't know when the billing thing was, if it
Yeah.
goes to the end of the year type thing, but I would like to get rid of the dog
Be great,
program.
great idea.
Because
Sure.
Yeah,
it wasn't worth $100,
$100.
especially for how many problems I've had with it in the last 3 weeks.
Mm.
I couldn't license a dog until not too long ago, even though I had this thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't have an issue with
So
that.
how do we go about getting rid of that piece of that program, do you know?
It will have to go through the treasurers. You know, you talk to the county treasurer.
Okay, you can fill me in on how to do that, or if that's something you take care of or whatever, I just forgot to not.
I can
have
talk
that.
to him, because I'm gonna ask him on the special assessment too, because basically they're all there.
Mhm.
So unless we do a change, you know, like a dollar figure,
There's no change.
there's no change.
Yeah, anyways,
So I'm gonna talk to, that really nice woman. Crystal.
Black County Park and,
That's for that dumpster down
dumpster down
at Gil's
at
Landing,
Gil's.
our half. And it was really nice, so the Park and Recreation, they actually did send me a copy of the bill that they got from Grayson. And it showed every township that had one and how they split the cost, so. And I've never seen that before.
yeah.
good. Motion in order to approve the bill.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
You all heard the motion, in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Next meeting, Monday the 3rd of February, work for everybody?
yes,
Yep.
just be back from being warm.
Yeah?
Oh, and you're-
Well, hopefully it'll be warm here.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
coming back from being warm, I didn't say it was gonna be warm here.
Well, I know that, but hopefully you'll bring some back.
Okay, I'll try to pack it in that suitcase when we come back. Might be cool off after 2 days.
6 PM and back to Dolores' house? or-
I think so, unless, I don't see why anybody, they didn't come now,
Yeah.
I would say.
Can always adjust that.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else?
I have, Pat was working on the insurance certificate with the fire department, and Dolores was too, and he hasn't had time with all the stuff that's been going, so it's not right, the insurance certificate we got, and I wanna kinda stay out of it a little bit, and, he understands, so he's gonna work on that. I got a call from, a person that wanted to let us know that, Tony Byer from the school board, represents the town of Weyauwega, is not seeking election, and that there are 3 so far. Don't know if there are gonna be more.
No, it's done,
It's done?
it's done.
Okay, and what I was told is Dave Besser
Dave Besser?
and Ruben Larson
Mm-hmm.
and Kurt Duxbury. Am I right? Okay.
Tell your wife that there will be an election February 18th. It's making us order for it.
Okay.
Now I got a hand raised. Okay. Yep.
And then, and Bill, I can't make the fire district meeting. I'm gonna be out of town
Okay.
on the I think it's the 28th of January. And if you could, pick me up a copy of the check register. I'm curious to see what the money surplus carryover is. Okay. And I'm also curious to see how many, fire calls. Because they keep saying there's so many fire calls, that's why they needed more money.
Yeah.
And so I went back, in 2011, there were 79 fire calls, 2012, there was 82. I'm curious to see what there are in 2013.
Does he usually have that report ready for the January meeting?
I don't know if he does or not, but if
Kinda
he,
seems to me that one was,
it it might come a little later.
come in March, but I'm
The
not
chief's
sure.
report, is that
Yeah.
part of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
And we've had in the $30,000 range of money carryover. I'm curious to see what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
When
Number,
is their
I'll,
election?
Oh,
So, okay, meeting's adjourned, okay?
well,
Oh, did I make a motion
Okay.
to,
I'll second.
motion made and second. Meeting be adjourned, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.